Okay, so we can start off by you introducing yourself and what year you graduated from.
Okay. My name is Maria Sanchez Carlo, but I was known at Trinity as Maru. And I graduated last century in 1973.
Okay. And then my name is Jaylin Mejia. And then is April 16th, and we are starting the interview at 2:59 p.m. Okay, so we can start off with the first question. It will be basically introducing yourself. So the first question would be when and where were you born and did you grow up there?
Yes, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico,
Mhm.
and I lived there until I changed my official residence after finishing my first year of graduate school. And since then I've lived here my residence has been in Alexandria. Um, what else did you want to know?
And did your parents or guardians work outside of the home?
My dad did. He had a dairy farm and a dairy processing plant, and my mother was a homemaker.
Okay. And then what do you remember about your home that you were raised in?
Well, I we lived in the same home um, until I was 11 years old. It was a rented house in town. And it was really good because the school was just a couple of blocks away. So my sister and I could actually walk to school. And and at 11, we moved to the suburbs. And my parents, they both went from that home to the cemetery.
And how would you describe your childhood and teenage years prior to you going to college?
Oh, wonderful. They were a lot of fun. We I had a wonderful group of friends, and actually we have we graduated about it's 54, 55 years ago from high school, and we still get together to
Wow.
to see how we're all doing and what's new and exciting and those kinds of things. And of course, I do the same thing with a group of friends from Trinity. We just celebrated our 50th our 50th graduation uh, anniversary last year.
Mhm.
So I have several good friends from there too. But my high school years were fabulous. Let me turn off these pings here. My high school years were fabulous. We didn't have drugs. We didn't have to worry about drugs. We didn't have to worry about anybody coming in and shooting up the place. So they were carefree and thoroughly enjoyable.
And what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, I wanted to be a diplomat. Always wanted to be a diplomat.
And what brought you to Trinity, and was it your first choice for college?
Yes, it was my first choice because my parents said you either go to Trinity or you don't go anywhere else. so, but actually, my sister had gone to Trinity for the first 2 years
Mhm.
of college. So I knew it. She raved about the school. So I wanted to go there.
Mhm.
Uh, and so when I got in, I was very happy.
So the second question was, were you the first person in your family to attend college? But you kind of answered that. So out of your siblings, who was the first one to attend college first?
Well, I only have one sister,
Mhm.
uh, and she after Trinity, she went to the University of Puerto Rico. Then she went to Iowa State, where she got a PhD in veterinary microbiology. God, she's so smart. Um, And then after I graduated from Trinity, I went to Johns Hopkins to do a master's in international relations.
Okay. And how well did your high school experience prepare you for Trinity?
Well, I still had fun, so that was good.
Hmm.
The way that you had to study and the things that you had to present were very different from those that you had to do in high school, of course. But I they were okay. I mean, I was able to graduate, and I got good grades all along, so I really can't complain. And it was a kind of intellectual rigor that did me well when I went on to graduate school. So
And how would you describe your experience at Trinity?
in general,
Hmm.
great. I mean, socially, it was a lot of fun. We My classmates were very nice. We formed very close bonds over the years, and I got good grades. I went out with a lot of guys, so hey, I was in heaven.
And did you experience any challenges at Trinity as a woman of color?
Well, I I do not consider myself a woman of color because look at me.
Hmm.
And I didn't experience anything. I mean, I people would ask me where I was from once they heard me speaking because I believe I still speak with an accent. So they would ask me where I was from, but that was as far as it went.
And how were your race relations at Trinity when you were a student?
Well, to be honest with you, we had in my class, we had one young woman from Africa,
Hmm.
and we had one or two, we call them then, day students, who were also of color. But there was a lady who was from Portugal, and there were about three or four. We started about four or five Puerto Ricans in the class, and I think only I graduated. The others did not. They left at some point. Some after freshman year, some after sophomore year.
How welcoming was Trinity to gay students when you attended?
Oh my God, that you know, I have no idea because nobody ever talked about that. It wasn't an issue then, it wasn't a problem. So
And did you have a mentor or role model when you were at Trinity?
I thought about that when I saw your questions, and I don't think I did. The closest thing to a mentor would have been Sister Seaton, who was just maybe 10 years older than we were. And she was, or at least she seemed to be only 10 years older than we were. And she was always there when I needed to consult something. But it wasn't an arranged thing or anything like that.
Um, and like how did she contribute to your academic or personal growth?
Well, it wasn't really, as I said, a continuous thing. It was just as, she would be the person who was older with whom I could consult things, but there was never the type of relationship that a mentor and a mentee would have. And so really, I mean, she was very kind. So in that sense, yes, she was very kind to me, but I don't, I can't find any type of relationship, long term.
Hmm.
So
And then can you tell me about one or two historical moments that occurred at your time at Trinity?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and how did that move you emotionally?
Well, the most important thing that was going on while I was at Trinity, I think it may have been freshman year.
Hmm.
Actually, it was for over several years, but I first encountered it on my freshman year, were the very, very large protests against the Vietnam War. So I went down and marched down in the mall a couple of times, at least twice, and we were all very, very much against the war. And while I was at Trinity, they instead of calling up mostly young men, although women would also be recruited to serve as nurses and other, you know, jobs like that. Um, they started the lottery, so only those people with the low numbers were called to serve in the war. The other thing that oh, and also the war ended when I was a junior or a soph or a senior. Can't remember exactly now. Um, the um, the other one was we had a large protest at Trinity. I do not remember what it was that we were protesting about, but oh my God. It was very large. People wouldn't go to class. We would meet at, I don't know whether the name of Cooley Hall is still there. It's
Hmm.
still okay, Cooley, and there was like a cafeteria there that we could go after class, and they had beer, so we could, you could order hamburgers or sandwiches and things like that, and then beer. So that's where we would meet and to decide what we were going to do. I know that there were a couple of changes in the curriculum,
Hmm.
but I really don't know what else happened. But the leaders of that event, one of the leaders of that event was the current college president.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. She was there. She was there. I remember she was the class behind me. So she must have graduated in 74. And Pat has always been very engaged and involved in college things. So if you want to know exactly why it was and what happened, ask her. Tell her that I told you to ask her because I can't remember.
And how did those moments impact your life and your career?
Well, I think that the way that impacted my life was to be able to speak up against things that I thought were wrong
Mhm.
and not be afraid of the consequences. And I think that was a pretty good thing to learn and to use it in life still today.
And what did you do after receiving your undergraduate degree from Trinity?
I went to the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies in Washington also um, for 2 years, and I got a master's degree there.
And what professional accomplishments are you most proud of?
Well, I joined the Foreign Service
Mm.
after 10 years in the I was an intelligence analyst for 10 years, and then I joined the Foreign Service, and I retired from there. So I'm pretty proud of that.
And what personal accomplishments are you most proud of?
Oh my God, that wasn't on the list. Um, well, I live well. I help others when I can, and that's usually a couple of times a week. Do volunteer work. I think my friends consider me a reliable person,
Mhm.
and I think that's pretty good.
And with that, what kind of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Well, I debated over this, how to answer this question. I even looked up the legacy definition just to make sure that, that I was what I had to tell you, of what I had to tell you. So, I think that what I would like to, I don't know if it's, you would consider it a legacy, but it's a, uh, a feeling that we always have to do our best, that we have to help others when we can,
Mhm.
and that we should not be afraid to be ourselves, um, and be kind. That's how I would like to be remembered.
Mhm. And then what does the world need to know about Trinity?
Ah, that it's a it's a it's a university. I mean, it was a college at my time, but now it would be a university that will train women not only in the knowledge of science or politics or whatever they study, but not only will they be successful in their line of work, but who will also be persons of integrity, you know, persons who would seek justice and would seek to do good. Um, and, you know, nobody in my class has risen to the level of Nancy Pelosi,
Mhm.
for example. But we've all done something in life, and it's been professionally and personally. And so I think you know, that's what Trinity can do for other women, or why, people should go to study at Trinity,
Mhm.
should go study at Trinity.
And with that, what does the world need to know about Trinity alumni?
Well, that some of our alumni have been extremely successful. Again, Nancy Pelosi,
Mhm.
Kathleen Sebelius, who was the secretary of HHS. I believe it was in the Obama administration. So we've reached the highest levels of government and medicine and science. So yeah.
And then what is one vital piece of advice that you would give to a current or future Trinity student?
um, I would say study hard,
Hmm.
um, do as many things as you can, studying, and also you have to start living. Um, so, but as you can, I understand that many students now at Trinity rely on scholarships, um, but to take advantage of every opportunity that shows up at your door. And it could be, going out to see an exhibit. It could be going out to go to a concert with friends. It could be, you know, whatever it is that has always interested you. This is your time to seek out those things and to start knowing them and learning about them, so that as you grow as a from a young woman, as a mature woman, you will be well centered, and you will have your studies to back up your work, but you will also have the life that comes with, being a I don't know, being a good person.
Hmm. And then what do you hope for current or future Trinity students will be doing going forward to preserve the university's legacy?
Go out and change the things that need to be changed, and improve the ones that don't have to be changed. But
Hmm.
there's always room for improvement. And if it needs to be changed, then have the courage and conviction to do it.
Okay. That was the end of our interview. That was all the questions. I just wanted to say thank you for taking your time and doing this interview with me, and it was very nice meeting you.
Same here. Next time I go to campus, I'll look you up. What year are you in?
I'm a junior.
Junior. Oh, so you only have one more.
Yeah, yeah, one more year.
What are you studying?
Criminal justice.
Oh, good,
Hmm.
good. We'll go out there and be the, you know, next woman attorney general. Do you plan to go to grad school afterwards or
I do. I'm just not sure yet. I'm still thinking about it, but yeah, it's on the top of my head for sure. It's just very expensive, but I'm
it
looking.
is?
Hmm.
But you can after I finished my master's and started working, I decided that maybe what I needed to do was to get a PhD. So I did not leave everything behind and started studying for my PhD. No, what I did was that I started taking one course a semester to see how much I liked, whether I liked it and whether it was worth it to divide my time between 10 hours of work and then another 10 hours of study. Um, but perhaps just taking one course will not be a terribly difficult thing. I mean, financially, or even just audit, and then see whether you like it and whether that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was talking to my mom about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, talk to her and see what she says. They I used to have a teacher in sixth grade when I was 10 years old, who used to say that the devil knows more because he's old than from being a devil. So your mom probably has a lot more experience in life.
Hmm.
So listen to what she has to say because she sees it from a different perspective. And knowing you, I mean, she'll be able to guide you
Hmm.
much better than I could, that's for sure. All right. Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Let me know if you get an A
Okay. All
or
right.
a B or a C. Just let me know.
Mhm.
Good.